Now I'm back in North Carolina for a couple months to heal skin condition called topical steroid withdrawal. I mean, your body's literally like building itself from the bottom up. If anything, this is when people need you the most now. I know that that's what I was put on this planet to do. Stopped all of my work and I was bedridden for 3 months. You have to start all over from scratch. Flagging my videos is harmful and dangerous. It was ridiculous.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the DaneMellowsTalks podcast. This week we've got a very, very special interview. From graduating a year early to moving to LA to follow her dreams. She's an actor, a model, a podcast host, and a content creator. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, Jada Jones.
That intro was just beautiful. What the heck? Hello, Dane. It has been a long time coming. Thank you so much for having me. It means the world. I'm so happy to be here.
No, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. We was just saying then, wasn't we, about how we did a little, for one of your videos on your channel, we did a little all-nighter lockdown sort of thing that I got a little bit involved with.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was like literally, I don't know if that was like during 2020 or 20. I think it was during 2020, not even 2021. So that was like a good 2, almost 3 years ago, which is crazy. Yeah, I liked doing more interactive stuff during that time because it was just so isolating and people weren't really having anything to do. So I was like, let's all pull an all-nighter, pull it with me and record some vlog clips and send it in so that like I could put a video together. It was ridiculous, but like we pulled it off. So
yeah, it was a good laugh because I remember being in obviously in the UK and different time zones. I was like, yeah, this is
that was crazy.
Different. I'm doing an all-nighter with you, but it's like
I was like, sleep, times. Please. Yeah.
No, it was really good. It was really good. So obviously they were for the YouTube videos. I mentioned that you do the podcast as well. All this content that you're putting out there, where did that originally start from?
I started in 2015 of December or December of 2015 and it was honestly just out of not boredom but just wanting some other creative outlet. Like I had gotten my first like Nexus tablet electronic gadget like in 2012. And I was way too young to even be on the internet at that point, but I had started seeing like YouTubers and like the lifestyle vlogs that like girls would put out, and it was just like the oversaturated like color wise like content and just like all the dramatic acting and like writing the skits and bits and stuff. Like that's what everyone was doing back then, and I was just like so about it. I was like, I want to do that. I don't care if I'm in middle school, I'm gonna do it. And I started my YouTube channel in 8th grade because I was like, this is my New Year's resolution. And I remember like wanting to do it like that entire year of 2015, but I ended up like putting up a video on December like 28th of the year because I was like, it's still my New Year's resolution, and I did it. So
it still counts.
Yeah, that's when exactly, it still counts. It was in the same year, whatever. And yeah, I posted the YouTube video and then I was like, I like this. I love creating content. And just kind of over the years, I just kind of adapted with the punches. And I started a podcast in 2018. Also out of just like wanting something else to do. I'm an Aries. I don't know. I completely just throw myself into too many projects and just do it, I guess. So yeah, I started the podcast High Key Adulting in 2018 and just brought on all these like cool guests to talk about like their journeys, and I just do some solo episodes here and there. You know how it is, the podcast life.
It's
and
a good laugh. Yeah, it's really good.
It's fun. I love it. Yeah, that's kind of where it started. It was really truly just out of wanting something other than school to do, and like arts. I'm like all into the arts, acting, dance, all of that, and I was just so busy doing all of that stuff, but I was like, I kind of want something like just for me, you know, to do, and like something that I can kind of grow on my own. And it's turned into crazy experiences and things that I can't even imagine. Like most of my friends are from the internet, like hello, like, you know, like everyone just kind of connects on the internet. And like, yeah, 90% of my friends that I know today are like from the internet, which is crazy. And like no in real life, you know, like all my LA friends, like most of them I met on the internet, which is crazy. But yeah.
That is really cool though, to take it back all the way to that very first upload to where you are now, because it does take a lot of courage to upload that first video. And I think you said you was in middle school, was it, when you did it? Which
right.
I think
yes.
Our equivalent would
please
be like...
do not look at that first video. It was ridiculous. I mean, that's a different time. Yeah, and then you probably know what happened with my YouTube channel when it like that was having all those issues, and so I had to start over, which was just another experience in itself. Like after you spend like so much heart and time and like literal blood, sweat, and tears trying to develop something, and then you have to start all over from scratch. I mean, I was just so scared to take the jump, but now I'm so glad that I have this other channel that,
Yeah,
you know, I'm
definitely.
growing and doing whatever. Like, I mean, it wasn't about the numbers to begin with, which is why I really had to sit down with myself and be like, do you really care? Like, everyone who cares about you is going to follow you on the new channel anyway, and like continue the journey. And, you know, it's a new chapter. Like, I was moving to
Yeah,
LA
definitely.
and all of that stuff. So I was like, you know what, whatever. But long story short, had problems with my other YouTube channel. They started like flagging my videos as harmful and dangerous. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't know why, but it was like my most popular videos, the ones that helped people how to like edit on YouTube and stuff like that. Like, it was very like kid friendly content, if anything. And I was just showing people how to edit, and they were saying it was harmful and dangerous. They stripped the video off my channel. I stopped making money off of those videos. And then I was just nervous that they were going to take down my channel from just whatever. So I just started it over. So it's still up, and people can go and watch those vlogs. The all-nighter video is on that channel
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But it just sucked to have to start over. But I'm glad I did it, and it's there now and whatever. So yeah.
I know it was one of those videos. I think it was how to edit a YouTube thumbnail, which is how I came across your channel
Oh, oh
first
my
as
gosh,
well.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So then, yeah, it was those videos. I don't know what was going on, but I tried to go to as many YouTube contacts that I had, and like no one could help me. Like no one, they were just like, well, it's saying that, so like I don't really know what to do. So it was just really frustrating. But it's crazy because it helps so many people, and I feel so bad. I'm
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I continue to do that on my new channel. I have no idea, but it was a time, that's for sure.
Like you say, though, it's probably brought across a more loyal fan base across to your new videos that you're
Yeah,
releasing
I think
now. And
so. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy about it because thinking about it, like I made so many other videos and content, but the ones that were getting like 500,000 views was like the one helping people how to do like YouTube, which I loved and it
Yeah.
was fine, but most of my audience was also coming from there. Like maybe 10,000 of those 22K subscribers had subscribed
Mhm.
from that video, so either they weren't watching my content anymore or anything, and like views were kind of like ratioed weird anyway. So I was like, honestly, yeah, I'll just start over, and all the people who are like really interested like can watch my stuff. So yeah.
I bet it'll probably feel a bit nicer now as well to have that more like you're able to release a lot more authentic content like the vlogs and like
Yeah.
talking about things that
Yeah.
happen in your life because you know that the people subscribed care and they want to listen to that.
Right. And I'm a big believer in like, I don't know, people talk about like niche all the time and like kind
Yeah.
of like narrowing yourself into a box, which like, hey, if you're all about cooking, like make a cooking channel. If you're all about gaming, make a gaming channel. But if you're kind of in this lifestyle mix that I know that you are too, it's like you just
Mhm.
kind of want to create whatever. And I think that you'll just naturally gravitate an audience that's interested in the stuff that you're doing based off of the personality that you put on. Like I did Among Us videos. Like hello, I do lifestyle videos. Why was I doing a
Yeah.
gaming video? I don't know. But like people watched it and it was fun. And like it's just you can just kind of do whatever. And I feel like the people who want to watch you like want to watch you. And it's yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
definitely. If the
Yeah.
ones that care to watch will make the effort to watch.
Right.
So
Yeah.
behind creating all this content, what's your main motivation for getting it out there? Because I know, like you were saying then on your old channel, a lot of the YouTube help tips will a motivation to help
Yeah.
people get started on YouTube. But now your lifestyle
Hmm.
stuff and sharing the authentic side of yourself, what's the motivation
Right.
behind that?
Honestly, I feel like there's no inspiration behind it. I genuinely just love documenting my life. I had this like fear of forgetting things and just like forgetting memories and things that have happened. Like I'm thinking back to my childhood when I was like 7 or 6, and I'm like, I don't really remember what that was like. I mean, like, not that I should remember in detail what it was like. I mean, if I
Yeah.
sit there and really think, like, I'm sure I can jog a few memories, but I'm like, I want to see that again. And I'm like, the only way that you can do that is by really kind of recording stuff, which puts me in like a really weird dilemma of like balancing real life and vlogging and doing all this stuff and like still enjoying my life. Cause it's like when you're putting it all on camera, it's just kind of it's there, but it's like, were you there? So I'm like trying to like
Yeah, yeah.
enjoy the moment while recording, while creating the content, while doing all that stuff. But yeah, so I love documenting stuff. So it's my favorite thing. And then the fact that like other people resonate with the stuff that I'm documenting is just like wild. So I think that's also why it was so easy for me to just start another YouTube channel, even though it was hard and like sad. I was like, honestly, I can just start over. Like I just love documenting my life. So like if that channel were to have shut down, I would have been so sad. So let's just start over. Let's just do it again. And it's fine. It's okay to start over. So yeah, that's an inspiration. Just like I don't want to forget stuff. So I like
Yeah,
going
yeah.
back and watching stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you've done the 1 second a day videos in the past as well.
Oh my
That'll probably
gosh, I
massively help
forgot
with that.
about
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, no, I forgot all about that. And the fact that like I know a lot of people who do that video kind of use the app. I think it was called like 1 second a day, I
Probably
think,
one
or like
second a day.
one
Yeah,
leap or something. Something like that. A lot of people were using that app, and I was like, no, I want it to be cinematograph, like cinema-esque, like whatever. And I was like, let me record all the videos on my camera. So I had like all these 1 second bits from the entire year on my camera, and it was just so stressful because every month I had to like upload the clips onto my hard drive and make sure
yeah,
that like I dated the date so that like around December 28th I can like edit this like clip together. But I started stressing myself out about it because if I forgot like a day or two, I was like, that's it. I'm not doing it for the rest of the year.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it would be in January, and I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't get a clip on January 16th. I'm gonna start over. So like I stopped that last year. I like stopped it, which sucks because like I look back at it now and I'm like, oh, that was such a great video, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm
I
not gonna
know, I
continue
completely
that.
know what you mean though, because
It's just so
this past year,
stressful.
yeah, this
Yeah,
past year is the first year that I've not done it. I think I only made like two or three actually, but this past
same.
year I decided not to do it because it was more just a case of there's so much time going into it, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I am kind of living out of the moment, trying to film it and trying to
Yeah,
get everything in there. Where it's like much rather
right.
just enjoy it and use a different way to look
Me
back.
too. Me too. And I'm like, I already do the vlogs anyway, so it's
Yeah,
like, am I really missing out on this 1 second a day video?
exactly.
But I
Yeah,
do remember it, and it was so nice. And like, that was a time when like a lot of people were doing. It's funny because my friend actually did one this year. I saw it in my sub box, and I was like, oh yeah, like this is a thing. Like I forgot we did this video.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but it's a fun video. Loved it.
So going back to the vlogs that you made and everything, and I know that you mentioned trying to find that good balance of enjoying it and vlogging it.
Hmm.
Just a weird question: have you ever felt like you're um taking other people out of the moment with it? That's always been in
Mm,
my head with vlogging because I've made a
that's a
few
good
while being at
question.
uni, where it's like I'd
Hmm.
much rather I'd love it if everyone's involved in it, but
Yeah.
I'd much rather it just be me because I know that I'm comfortable with it, and rather than
Uh-huh.
anyone else trying to fake it or anything, or like it makes them enjoy it
Yeah.
less. Have you ever that ever
No,
crossed your mind with it?
I completely feel you. I think, especially during my high school years when I was just kind of
Mhm.
vlogging to document, I think having the internal decision to just vlog because of documenting, I think I never like if anything people loved the camera like there was not ever a thing where people were like don't show me, and if they like didn't want to be in it they weren't in it, but mostly my like they were jumping to be in the camera, like they wanted to be in it so bad, like it was just one of those things. And I think even in the past 2 or 3 years since like COVID happened and whatever, like that's when people really started becoming content creators. Like it was still kind of like not a thing when I was in high school. I was like the only person really vlogging, and I feel like now everyone has like a vlog channel or like a
Yeah.
TikTok where they're doing daily vlogs. But like at that time, I had a camera, and I was like the only person who had a camera, just bringing it into school every day. And I would just get vlog clips. I didn't even care. And I would mostly I like wide angle shots because like it kind of shows the whole like atmosphere of everything. So
Mhm.
like I remember being in dance class and like propping it up at the front of the class and like having us like do whatever we were doing and just things like that. And I think it was really fun to kind of do it for the vlog, you know, like it was kind of that time where it's like everyone was just kind of doing stuff for the vlog. But now these days I feel like if it's more like intimate friend moments where it's like we're having like a dinner and it's at like someone's house and like it wasn't meant for content and it was just like for us to
Mhm.
come together and whatever, like then that's different. Like I'm not going to shove like a camera in people's face. I think that's when it comes to like, oh,
Finding
if
that
there's a serious
balance.
conversation happening, yeah, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna go prop up my camera over there to get this wide angle shot. It's like that's not natural, you know.
Yeah.
And like I'm not gonna put also new people. I feel weirder around like new people that I'm meeting. Like say I'm going out to coffee with someone for the first time, it's like, do you want to be on the vlog? Like
Yeah.
that's the last thing that I want to ask you. No, like you know I would hate if someone did that to me, you know, because I'm like, I don't know you, but like I know for a lot of my friends, we love taking pretty pictures and like fun things anyway. So it just kind of feels like this natural thing that we all do. And especially now, because a lot of my friends are content creators, we're so used to pulling out the camera like at dinner and like setting it up. So it's like that's kind of like our thing. So it kind of feels nice and not really out of the moment. If anything, you kind of forget the camera's recording and you have this like 15-minute clip of us just like talking and whatever, spilling all the tea. And it's like, it's fun to look back on like for my own personal memories and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because obviously that's taken up a lot of the content that you've put out onto YouTube, which has led to
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other things. One of the main things, moving to LA very recently. What's that
Yes,
been like?
yes,
A
I
big
did.
transition? Does it take a long time to get used to?
Yeah. So so after graduating high school a year early, I actually went to New York, and that's where I was first. And I was there auditioning for Broadway and doing all that stuff. Like that was my main focus until I came back for COVID. And then I stayed here back in my hometown for another year and a half before then I moved to LA, because I was like, now that I've been at home for a bit, kind of like a reset button, let's go to LA now. That's where I kind of wanted to be in the first place anyway.
Different. Yeah.
Right. And like that was and then at that point when I moved to LA, I was already focusing on like the film and TV world. So I'd already transitioned. So there was not really a reason to be in New York anymore, because I knew I was focusing more on the film and TV side of things anyway. So let's go to LA. I recorded all that stuff on my new vlog channel, and it was fun and stressful and all the things. And I was still in the middle of like pandemic time. It was April like 2021. So people were still at home. Like I know schools were still online for the most part here back in my hometown. And I was just like, I'm ready to move. I'm like, I want to start my life before things kind of pick back up again and like get crazy. But even for the acting side of things, like we're not in the rooms auditioning or anything. We're still doing all Zoom related stuff. So genuinely, I just wanted to move over there to like start and like plant myself somewhere, because I was like, if in 2022 things are just kind of like picking back up again, I don't want to do that move when everyone is picking back up again. So let's go. And like even the apartment prices were lower. Like a lot of apartment places were doing deals and stuff like that, because no one was moving to LA. Like everyone was just kind of still. So at that point, I had just moved. I just decided to do it. It was crazy decision, but I was like, I know I can do it. Like I have the support of my family. I know this is something that I've always wanted to do. So why not do it? And I just did it. So it was really, really fun. And now I'm back in North Carolina for a couple months to heal, because I'm going through this condition that started in June. And I'm sure you were going to introduce that at some point, but I'll just go ahead and talk about it. I started going through this skin condition called topical steroid withdrawal. It is absolutely brutal. The fact that I'm even here right now recording this podcast is incredible. I mean, I'm so proud of the things that my body has been able to do and support me on this awful journey. But essentially, I struggled with eczema growing up my entire life. And to go to the dermatologist, they immediately prescribed something called topical steroids. So it just looks like a cream. Like it could be like Vaseline looking, or like literally like a cream like from a tube. Like it literally just looks like that. So it doesn't seem harmful when you're just kind of applying it onto your skin. But I'm telling you, like the rash that you may have had, or like the cut that you may have had, like the next day, like you sleep and the next day you wake up after you applied it and your skin is 1000% healed. Like that is some scary kind of like stuff. That means that the stuff that you're putting onto your body is potent. It's very, very, very strong. And to think that after years of applying it and you're not going to have any consequences, it's crazy. So a lot of people don't know much about topical steroid withdrawal, because a lot of dermatologists don't believe it. They're just like, just apply the steroids, it'll be fine. But it's been shown that there are thousands of people currently going through this, and thousands more that are going to continue to experience this, because a lot of people can't tell the difference between severe eczema and topical steroid withdrawal, because they kind of look the same at the start. But I remember earlier in May of last year, I started seeing these spots all over my body, and I was getting so stressed out, because I'm like, I'm on camera. My job is to be on the camera, acting, vlogging, all the things, all the things on the camera. And I'm like, I cannot go through this. What is going on? And I think the stress of not knowing what was happening to my body and feeling all of these internal changes, because it doesn't just affect the skin, it affects your inner like circadian rhythm. Like your sleep just starts to be affected. Everything just starts to go crazy, and you have no idea what's going on. And you kind of gaslight yourself, and you're like, is this TSW? Like, I just don't know that. Like, it's so rare, they say, like there's no way it's TSW. And the fact that I had only used the cream for like 8 years and only in certain spots of my body, whereas some people use it 25 years consecutively, and then they start going through TSW because they've developed like a tolerance to it and it's no longer working. I didn't develop a tolerance to it. I simply wanted to have a natural journey. And I thought at that point, I had already stopped using the steroids for like, I think a month. And I didn't start seeing effects until after. But some people, they start seeing effects like the day that they stop steroids. For me, I saw it 4 weeks later. So I would have never known if I just continued applying the cream if I was going to start going through this. But my face started feeling like heat come through it. Like it just felt so uncomfortable on your body. And it's just this like bone deep itch that you cannot, like, it just doesn't stop. And it's everywhere. And your skin becomes so frail and fragile. And it's like basically ripping itself and repairing itself because your cortisol is trying to like, the stress chemical is trying to adjust in your body, because what the steroids do is just suppress inflammation, and that's basically all what skin conditions are: inflammation everywhere. So like you have a rash, whatever, that's inflammation. So it's suppressing inflammation for how many ever years you're using it until you stop, and then your body just erupts. Like your whole body doesn't know what to do, so it starts to do this full body like withdrawal process that's brutal and painful, tiring, and the only thing that can really heal it is time. So I'm currently back home healing for a bit because it's very up and down. The flares are crazy. You don't really know when you're going to be well. I'm going through a good period now where I'm like on the up of healing, but who knows, I could have a dip in like 3 weeks and then it will go back up. It's very up and down. So that has been the biggest part of my life recently. It's been taking up my entire life, and honestly, acting and vlogging and social media and everything hasn't even been on the forefront of my mind, which is crazy because like that was my life before TSW. But I'm like thinking, I'm like, I'm still a content creator. I still act like this is who I am. I'm still an artist. I still have so much to give, and this condition isn't forever. It'll be, maybe it's long. It's like people average like a 2 to 5 year healing process, which is very, very long, but you can speed that up. Or yeah, it's a very long time because I mean, your body's literally like building itself from the bottom up. So it's doing all of the nasty stuff that it has to do in order to heal. And it's really brutal. So I know so many people who are going through it now because of all the groups that I've joined and whatever. And it's just so sad to see. And I'm like, Jada, you can still use your platform to provide awareness to this and do what you know how to do best. Like, if anything, this is when people need you the most now. And it's like, without putting too much pressure on myself, because that's already a lot to give when you don't even know who you are and you can't recognize yourself. I know that that's what I was put on this planet to do. You know, I'm like, I'm the communicator. I love talking. I love bringing people together and like showing up for what I know is right and whatever. And I just knew that my TSW healing diaries on TikTok would help, and my story and telling my story on TikTok would help, and on Instagram and YouTube. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what you look like. If anything, I had to prove to myself now, because I'm like, I'd been telling people, it's like, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter whatever. If you want to be a content creator, do it. Like, there's always some avenue for you to do it. Now going through TSW, it's like, oh, I'm gonna wait till like I look better in order to start doing content again. And I'm like, that's not what you told people. So why don't you show up the way that you know how to do best? And if anything, people will respect you for it so much more. And I've only gotten love. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and the people who are hating, it's like, you definitely just don't understand. You're a little bit something's going on. Because I'm like, I mean, I can't change how you view things, whatever, but it's like, if you're uneducated enough to want to pick on someone on the internet, that says more about you than it does about me. So it doesn't really matter. So I've only received love from posting my journey, and yeah, that was a long ramble, but yeah, I got the whole thing out there.
No, yeah, definitely is what a good mindset to have with it. First off, that you're taking like a bit of a positive spin on it, because how hard it must have been on you is unimaginable. Yeah. But to then be like, okay, well, I'm gonna make this into spreading awareness to other people, especially how you were saying before about in the UK it's more common or something. So there's a lot more awareness on it here, but especially in America where a large portion of your audience will be, they probably need that support, especially if doctors, definitely, a lot of doctors are dismissing it, which is
they are. Yeah, it's awful. And it's like, these are the people that you trust in the hands to like heal you and whatever, but there's so many other ways to heal. And there's so many things that I've learned about my body and about the human body and how it's able to literally regenerate itself without nothing. I mean, like, as eczema patients, we're told, like, since we're young to like moisturize. Like, that's kind of what, they tell us so that we don't have dry skin. But with TSW, you have like this aversion to water and moisture and everything that comes to contact with your body, like even fabrics, like everything just feels uncomfortable, and like you can't even shower. I mean, last year was the year that I have showered the least. Like, I've never thought that I would be able to say that in my life, but I kid you not, like I went like a 3-month period without showering because you can't have water on your body. Like, it actually burns. It feels like acid on your skin. So it's like you can't be like in water for long periods of time. And some people think that it's more comfortable to be in water, so they stay at like bathing every single day, because you just feel nasty and like gross, because your body is doing all these like nasty stuff, flaking, bleeding, all the things. And like, you're just told not to shower. So you're just like, is this an infection? Like you literally can't tell. So you just have to use your best judgment, because again, the lack of knowledge around TSW is very whatever these days. But there's Facebook groups now, there's people on TikTok talking about it, there's articles beyond articles on how to heal. And with TSW, you kind of have to use the best judgment for your body. And that's the hardest part, because it's like you want guidance from a doctor, but like you might not be able to get that. So I know a lot of TSW patients are going the holistic route, going to ask TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, to get like acupuncture and like herbal stuff, because like the last thing you need to do is put steroids on your body when you're already doing the withdrawal process, because if you go back to it, you're just starting the whole thing over again. So very, very difficult. But yeah, a lot of UK creators have been talking about, UK and Australia have been talking about TSW on a bigger scale, because I think there's more research being done currently there. But if there are so many people going through it in the UK and Australia, imagine how many people are about to go through it in America. So it's crazy, because that's our medical system anyway. So it's like everyone's using steroids that I know, and there's so many people who are using it that don't even know the effects of it, don't know what's about to happen, and it's really, really sad. And you just apply it because you just want your skin to be better. So yeah, that's about it.
So have you still been able to do some form of auditions through your time at home, or has it been completely one thing shut off, this is complete recovery time?
Yeah, so back in August of last year, I came back home for 2 months, and then I went back to California. So I went back to California because I still had my apartment. My boyfriend was there trying to keep the apartment like good, because my lease wasn't even over yet. So I couldn't break my lease yet. Otherwise, it'd be like $4,000, and I just don't want to do that. So my lease ended in October, and by that point, I was going through a really good healing phase. So I was like, let me go back to LA, let me change my car plates and everything that I needed to do while I was there. And I was there for 3 more weeks, and I had a huge flare. It was almost worse than the first one that I had starting in June. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this here anymore. I think I'm going to have to go home for a longer period of time. But we needed to put in a 30-day notice. We needed to figure out moving stuff, where everything was going to go. It was just this whole stressful process. And I was bedridden again for another 3 weeks after I started going through that big flare. And then now I came back. So the last time I was home, I did, I think, 2 auditions, because I just wanted to say F it, let's just try it. And I got an audition from my manager, and it was like a guest star role, or no, sorry, like a day player role in like a movie. So it was very simple thing, and it was almost like a military vet type thing. So I was like, okay, I don't mind looking a little like rough and disheveled for this, because like I can do that. And so I did that, and I felt really good about it. And my manager was like, that's awesome, like it's so good to see you like taping, but there are so many things that I just can't tape for now, and no, I can't tape for now. Yeah. I mean, I understand the way that I look right now. It's very difficult to cast, like, and because your skin is so I guess unstable is the word. It could be amazing one week and not the next week. It's just, you have no idea. And working on a movie set or TV show is like the hardest thing to do right now. So yeah. I've just kind of out of sight, out of mind acting for right now. And I'm just focusing on watching content, TV shows, movies, all the things, like reading scripts, doing all the things that I need to do while I'm healing, because I know that the industry is not going to go anywhere. I have so much time. It's ridiculous to think that like my career is over because I'm going through the skin condition. It's like, I really had to sit myself down and be like, Jada, chill, bro. Like chill, because like you're good. You're fine. The industry is not going anywhere. And if anything, we're going through a recession right now too. It's like a world. It doesn't really make sense for me to like force myself to be at my 100 when no one's really at their 100. So focusing on healing my body first and the stuff that I can control. So podcast stuff now that I'm feeling better. And, you know, if I have to be out for 2 weeks in a week, like I know that, like I'm aware of that, and I know how to like mentally manage all of that now that I've been through it for 8 months now. So it's been hard. It's been ridiculous, but yeah.
At least you do have that space and that freedom to like go home and recover with the support of your family.
So grateful.
Yeah.
So grateful, because I know so many people who are going through this who have children, and I'm like, how are you going to financially support your children while being out of work for so long? Like, I mean, I stopped all my work. Like in June, I stopped all my work, and I was bedridden for 3 months. So I can't imagine like not being able to just do anything. It takes a big toll on your body, let alone your mental state. Like it's wild. Yeah.
So I imagine then that I was going to ask you a question about your short-term and long-term goals, but I imagine that the short-term goals are going to be recover as quick as possible. But
for sure.
more maybe your long-term career-focused goals. What are those like? Or maybe like a social media side of thing, or more career-based. What are your long-term goals?
Yeah, it's funny you asked because I just did a podcast episode on like the way that I'm viewing goals this year, because it's so hard to view goals from like the sky's the limit, like when your body is just not going to match up to that. So this was the first year like walking into 2023 being like, I don't know if I feel my 100%, but that doesn't mean that I can't set goals still. That means that I'm just going to have to look at them in a different way. So my biggest way I'm looking at everything is pretty much short term. I think that it's just not in the cards of alignment right now for me to make any like huge long-term goals. But I know that if I'm able to make short-term goals, like whether that's daily, every week, and then every month, it just makes more sense to look at things in chunks and align that with how my body's doing. So I guess if you're asking big goals for like the future, like let's say 5 years down the road, I'm still so down. TV shows, movies, that's all my thing. Like I love acting so much. I love being on set. I love creating stuff. Like that's what I want to do. And I know that that's just going to take some time. So you just kind of have to wait it out. But that doesn't mean that I can't do anything in my power right now to continue studying and doing all that stuff. Like that's the stuff that I can do. So there's no reason, to cry over not being able to do it. If anything, I think the universe was also trying to tell me to slow my body down. I was driving myself into a hole before I started TSW, which is all the work that I was putting myself into, all this stuff. I was neglecting my bodily needs to like work out and eat right and all that stuff because I was just doing so many things. And the universe literally forced me to stop and was like, you're going to be bedridden for 3 months. And then after that, we're going to learn how to work like a better human. Because I was just driving myself crazy. But yeah, so long-term goals definitely to still act, social media, continue to grow my brands, continue to connect people, and yeah, that's basically it. I think we make things so complicated sometimes when like genuinely I just want to connect human beings, and I do that already. So I'm like, I'm doing my goal already, you know what I'm saying? So it just makes me happy to think that like my life doesn't have to come to a stop. Like I can still do the things that I have the power to do, which is a lot, and it's shown me a lot. It's taught me a lot. I truly would not be the person that I am today without the TSW experience. And I think it just made me a stronger human overall. I know how to connect and empathize to people more who are going through things, because I mean, not that I had an easy life beforehand, but my problems were like, my YouTube channel for 5 years has stopped, which is that's a big problem. It's really sad. But more so like the physical health aspect of stuff. Never experienced something this detrimental. Like, I had injuries when I was dancing and all that stuff back in the day, but nothing like this, nothing like this at all. So it's taught me a lot, and I think it's just making me a more well-rounded human that understands people.
It's a completely different outlook to have, and again, I do have to commend you on the positive like outlook that you're having on it, because it is with everything that's going on to still think about it like that and to spread that positive energy with it must take so much. Just before we're going to the last section, because I've not got Zoom Premium, there's 2 minutes left.
No, so I know. I
if it cuts us out, then just jump back on the same link.
Sure.
But to close out the podcast, what I usually do is I get the guest from the last interview episode to ask the next guest a question.
That's fun. Yeah.
So the last interview episode, I had Adam Walsh on, who's this big finance guy, and he's obsessed with finance. Nice. And he does really, really well with it. And he asked you for one thing that you believe that is very taboo that most people will disagree with. So kind of like an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I believe in rooting my quote unquote taboo opinions in my experience, I guess. So I guess it makes sense to say that I don't believe that the Western medical system is there to help. It's definitely a money scheme, in my opinion. And
Right.
again, you can believe what you want to believe, but
Yeah.
I just can tell by a lot of practices that are practiced. They're very outdated, and we're not focused on the well-being of people. We're focused on the money and the money that it can bring as a society. And I feel like I'm able to really say that now because I can see some stuff. But I mean, not even just in my experience, I genuinely think that there are cures for some things that only certain people have access to. I think that there are things that aren't available to general knowledge because it would help too many people in the way that
Right.
should. And I mean, same thing goes with like social media and the things that we choose to consume our time with. I think we're becoming drones. Like, I mean, I love social media for all the things that it can bring, but I mean, the amount that like even the average child is consuming social media per day, like it can't be healthy. I mean, there's a reason
Yeah.
why we have a mental health epidemic going on right now, not just from the pandemic that we experience, but just from the stuff that we're choosing to consume these days. And like there's kids, like you're as a child, I mean, as even as a just newly adult, it's like I look at the stuff that I'm consuming and I'm like, there's no way a kid is consuming this and more. And like
Hmm.
of so many random things too, now that you have access to just every corner of the internet, there has to be things that you're just not prepared to see as like a 7-year-old that you're just shown, and there's just so many things that I'm looking at right now and I'm like, I just question things more. Like I just feel like I even with opinions and stuff, I think people are so easy to fall into extremes these days of like, I believe this or I believe this. There's no in between. But I feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot of cases where there's a lot of gray area. And I think that where a lot of people are just so set on their extreme and surround themselves with people who have the same extreme beliefs that they don't allow themselves to listen to other people. I think we've lost the whole listening aspect. So it's like I feel like now I'm naming like three taboo things in one, but I feel like I'm just getting it all out there. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just
The
think
more
we're
the
just not
merrier. Yeah.
listening. Yeah, the more the merrier. You're gonna get your answer. Yeah, I just yeah. So the Western medical system needs some shape shifting, and so does our school education system. But this is not anything you guys know. Different. It's all the same stuff. We're all just trying to make somewhat of a better planet. But I think that there are certain people in power that just don't want that to happen because it keeps their families rich and it keeps their people good. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I think that's my taboo opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, especially with the point on the medicine and everything, especially with what
Yeah.
you're going through at the moment.
Yeah.
I heard before, well, it was a while ago now, but it stuck with me that every time you go to the doctors or the hospital and you go to see a doctor,
Hmm.
they're basically throwing a dart at a dartboard and being like, "Oh, so these are the symptoms that you're showing me. Let's see. Oh, okay, well, we'll try
Yeah.
this with it, and we'll just hope for the best." Is it
Yeah,
just a
and
bit of a weird concept to just go and just accept that?
it sucks because I mean our healthcare system is completely fucked. It's ridiculous. Like it's so messed up with so many things that we do. I mean, we're charging women to give birth to kids. Like it's
That
just
that's something I cannot get my head around in
you'll look at the
America.
like breakdown of the like an itemized list of like the stuff that you did and they'll charge you for like 3 ibuprofen like $600 just because they can, and if you don't see it and you don't call it out, it's like they just whatever, and it's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
you might as well pop a child out somebody somewhere else and like bring it back. Because I'm like, I just don't, it's we're not focused on the well-being of our people. We're
Hmm.
not. It's a capitalistic society, and it's funny because like we're taught even in sixth, seventh, eighth grade. Like I was like, oh yeah, like capitalism is good. America loves capitalism. Like we're able to just like go as far as we can and make how much money that we want and have this free American dream. And to a certain extent, I'm so grateful for all of the things that my country can provide. Like I think that some I still have hope in my country, and like even though I don't at many, many times, it's like I still have the hope in the people that I see on the daily, and the people that I know that exist out there. It just doesn't make sense that like I have to be disappointed in my country. Like we don't say our Pledge of Allegiance anymore. Like a lot of us stopped singing like the national anthem, like, because we just don't agree with the stuff that's going on, and it's not treating the people who look like us in a way that is supposed to help us. And I mean, talk more about the Western medical system, I guess. It's like it definitely is different for someone who is white and someone who is of color. Like it's very different, and you just start to see all of these things that are unwinding in front of you, and you just can't help but question it. At this point, it's not even taboo. It's almost the general like thing that
Consensus,
everyone is believing. Like everyone is starting to just wake up and be like, what is going on? Why have we been agreeing to this? Why is every job 9 to 5 when like you can definitely get the same amount of work done in 4 hours? You just schedule 9 to 5 so that we can't be at home with our families. Like, I mean, like in Spain, I know that they have like, what's it called? You probably know it. Don't they have like, what's it called? Like break time when they go home, like during school. There's a name for it. I forgot. And they go like home for an hour, and they go and like hang out with their families, eat lunch, eat whatever, and then go back to school to finish the rest of the day. Like we don't have stuff like that. We are so focused on drilling our people to be people of the workforce that we don't allow people to rest. Like there's a reason why I've been brought up to be such a workaholic, because I knew that like, oh, like, yeah, it'll gain me more money. Like, like that's all we care about really. But yeah, then you have the money at the end of the day, but your mental health isn't in check. Your family relationships are all messed up. Like you don't know how to be a good human. And I mean, most of the people that have money in this country, it's like that might not be their issue, but they definitely have a lot of other issues on like how to interact with treating people nice. Like, like we just forget all of the main decency of like being a human, and yeah, it's just gone out the window. So I hope that like the side of social media that I'm on and the stuff that I'm putting out there, and all the content that I consume from my friends and whatever, it's like I hope it's making it a better place. Like I hope it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, because like I believe that you can do what you can do, and even if that's the smallest amount of change, it is some change.
It makes a difference. Yeah, definitely. And I think the stuff you're saying about the 9 to 5 is definitely right. Everyone's schedules a 9 to 5 out for the day, but I know, like now, I've now got an internship at the moment for this year, and that is technically a 9 to 5. I work from home 3 days a week, so I do that on my laptop, which is automatically then a lot more freedom. But it is that kind of sense of the same thing. And in what we call college, but I think you'd call the last few years of high school, we can go home when we don't have lessons. So I could maybe be in for an hour in the morning, and like the last 2 hours of the day, and in between that entire day, I'd just go home, or I'd sit in and just see my friends.
That's more of like a college schedule here. Like that's more of like if you're free to go home for the weekend and you don't have any like things that are like, depending on how you set up your schedule, like that's kind of how it is. You can go home if you want to, if you're close by and it makes sense for you. But yeah, no, we don't prioritize like resting. Like I've been trained to be a drill bot, and when I'm not doing work, like what pull ourselves into the ground. And there's a reason why when I'm resting, I feel like something's wrong. Like I should be able to rest and do whatever I want to do and take a day off and sleep. Like I watched my parents like not be able, like over the past like years of working, not be able to take off a day to just be with their kids, and not be able to take off vacation whenever you want to. Like we're here to live a human experience, to be human, and to enjoy the fruits of life. Like we're supposed to be here, I think, as humans, to enjoy each other, to cook each other good food, to celebrate. Like that shouldn't be the only time when we come with family and all that stuff. It's like the 3 times during the year when there's a major holiday. Like we should be able to do that year round and enjoy that stuff without feeling like I'm not being a helpful person in society. And honestly, more breaks, more time off, more rest, more being able to be away from your phone and not have to check your email 3 times in every minute. It's like more of that would be able to alleviate all of the mental health issues that are going on in our country. And like even with school, I mean, I remember the schedule that I had in school, and it is 10 times busier than anything that I've ever put myself to post high school. And I think to a certain extent, there's a reason why I felt so almost unproductive at many points when I was living in LA, because it's like, yes, I was doing so many things, but in the times that I wasn't, nothing was scheduled. So I was just enjoying my time and living my life because like if rent was covered and I was living my life and I had food on the table, I was chill. Like I just
Hmm.
wanted to enjoy my time, play video games, hang out with the people that I love. Like that should be what it's about. Like I shouldn't feel guilty for like not doing stuff for a week. Like I want to take weeks off on end. Like pandemic shouldn't be the reason why we take off a year, of doing nothing. And it's almost like I've been forced personally into another pandemic of my own, being
Hmm.
isolated for so long and not being out of and being out of work. So it was just so it's so crazy because I'm like, oh, the world has already started and I'm being held back again. But like I of anything, now I'm starting to take like the blessing of like not being able to go back to this world because it's a lot. It's almost like now I have this excuse because I'm quote unquote like sick and going through a chronic illness. Like that's my excuse to be out, which it shouldn't have even have to be that. Like you should be
Hmm.
living your normal life and be like, I want to take off a week. Like you should be able to do that. That's not something that like should be a privilege. Like that's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that should be
definitely.
like that's something that we're divinely like we all should be able to do. And that's also a major taboo. I feel like people are like, oh, our generation is just lazy, like Gen Z just doesn't want to work. I just think we're just starting to not put up with the stuff that the generation before us would put up with. Like I think
Hmm.
that we're just able to be like, no, I'm not gonna work at this job because people don't treat me right. Like, like people are just, like that's not really been a thing. People are like, oh, just deal with it. Like, go to your workplace. Like, you're getting paid, you're getting food on the table. But
Yeah.
like, if that's not, if the people that I work with aren't supporting my what's going on up here, like, I don't want to be in a space
Yeah,
like that.
you're not gonna
I
want to work with
never,
them.
I don't, I refuse to work in
Yeah.
any situation. Like, and that's why I always tell my mom and my dad, I'm like, 9 to 5 is not for me, babe. Like, you will not see me there. You will not, whatever. Like, or if it's a 9 to 5, it has to be with people that I love, like people that I
Yeah.
want to wake up at whatever time to be with from 9 to 5.
And
Like
something you're passionate about as well.
yeah, we just put up with so much BS that I don't think we should have to put up with. Like, and I don't think it's out of laziness. I think it's just out of having a better quality human experience. And I think we're all entitled to that. Like, that is something we're entitled to as humans. I truly believe that. But our society will force us to think that that's laziness and that's not productive to society, which sucks. But that's taboo. There you go. You got
Yeah.
like 5 things out of me.
Yeah, a
Yikes.
better answer to the question than I could have ever
Yeah.
imagined.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, yeah,
Amazing. I'm
no,
glad.
really good answer. So that was obviously Adam's question to you. Do you
Yeah.
have a question for the next guest?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me think. Oh, okay. I'm a huge foodie. That is everything that I'm about. If anything, my entire TikTok page and like Instagram explore page is just food
Food,
recipes
yeah.
galore. Yeah. What is their favorite meal to eat? What is their favorite restaurant in their area to eat at? And what is their favorite meal to cook?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I
What
think that's my question.
what would your answers be for those?
Okay, my first question was what's my favorite meal to eat? I'm an actual foodie, so I
Uh-huh.
like answering this is difficult. Depending on the day, definitely like ramen, tacos, burgers. I've gotten into such a burger like mood. I don't know, over the past
Mhm.
like 2 years. It's just something that I crave for whatever reason. And it has to be like good. And I think it's because I'm from like since coming from California, like in and out, ugh, whatever. That's my stuff. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get a triple stack burger.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, and like so that's my favorite meal to eat. Favorite restaurant to go to. There's this like Italian restaurant here in Charlotte, at least. It's like a mom and pop like shop. What's it called? I'm blanking on the name. Man, I haven't been here in a long time. Well, it's this Italian restaurant and their Alfredo and eggplant parmesan is amazing. I also like just like I don't know. I like everything. Like I eat everything. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like a really hard question for me. That's why I was asking it to the next person. I'm like, maybe you have an actual answer. And definitely in California, Tatsu is like my favorite ramen spot. I even put in my recent vlog. Like love going to Tatsu.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my favorite spot. So good. And my favorite meal to cook, I like making pasta. Pasta's my stuff.
Yeah.
I make a mean rigatoni alla vodka moment. It's
Very
amazing. So
nice.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, very
There you go.
nice.
That's my answers.
Yeah, you're very, very into the food then, even just from that, and obviously
Oh
seen it
yeah.
on your TikTok as well. But even just from that answer,
Yeah.
you can tell you're really into. You are the foodie that you
I'm a
say
food
you are.
person. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, well, very nice. Thank you very much for coming on to the
Thank
podcast.
you so much. It means the world.
No, thank you very much. Do you want to plug any of your social media, your YouTube,
Yeah,
anything that you've got going on?
sure. Yeah, my YouTube, now that we have handles, it's just mine
Yeah.
is at Jada. I don't know if that's a thing, Jada. And then my Instagram is at Jada Jones with three S's. And then my podcast is High Key Adulting. We have episodes every week, just talking about life, helping the 20 something experience. Um, and yeah, and TikTok is underscore Jada Jones with three S's underscore because all the handles were taken. So we had to have an underscore at the beginning and the end, but we're working on that one.
Well, there we go. Yeah, definitely check her out. Doing big things. Jada Jones, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much. It was the best experience.